Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're looking at a bunch of material on modern facility design.
Yes, specifically focused on the psychology of recruiting.
Right. And our mission here is really to cut through the noise and figure out what does the Gen Z athlete actually want from a physical space.
We're going inside the facility, basically.
Right. Where the game's often won or lost way before anyone, blows a whistle.
We've been digging into sources like designing for Gen Z athletes, and the big thing is the old recruitment playbook, it's pretty much dead.
Totally.
You might think it starts with the coach, the philosophy,
Yeah.
but really, it starts the second that athlete walks into the locker room.
That lines up perfectly with what we're seeing. Recruits today, they do this instant vibe check.
Mm-hmm.
They're not just looking at win-loss records. They are like sizing up your program's whole culture, its innovation, its feel,
Yeah.
all in seconds.
Yeah, that fast.
And that locker room space where the team kind of lives and breathes, that's probably the biggest piece of nonverbal recruiting collateral you have.
It really acts as a silent recruiter, and that whole function is deeply rooted in the psychology of today's athlete.
How so? Tell us more about that psychology.
Well, you got to remember, this generation, they're digital natives, right?
Mm.
They grew up processing the world through screens, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube.
They're visual decision makers.
Absolutely. Fundamentally driven by curated digital stuff and what you might call sensory validation.
Sensory validation. Explain that a bit.
It means if a program pours money into a really cutting-edge, impressive space, it validates the athlete's own sense of worth. It matches their expectation of excellence.
Ah, okay. So if the space doesn't look elite, the gut feeling is the program isn't truly elite either, regardless of history.
That's the core of it, yeah. The expectation is that the space has to speak their language, modern, immersive, and crucially, it needs to feel exclusive and very postable.
Postable.
Right.
Yeah, Instagrammable.
Exactly. But we're not just talking about like flashy gimmicks. It's about purposeful design elements, things that tell a story and signal that this place is top tier.
It's a physical sign of the brand's promise.
That's it, the silent recruiter.
Okay, I think that link to sensory validation is super important. It takes it beyond just looking nice into actual psychological triggers. But isn't there a danger here, like focusing too much on the visuals and maybe losing sight of team building or just basic function? Do the sources talk about that balance?
Oh, they definitely do. And that's actually why the 4 key design features we're about to dig into are really about blending that individual utility with a sense of community.
Oh.
They address core athlete needs, not just, shiny objects. The balance comes from making sure every design choice actually supports performance and recovery, not just looking good for a photo.
Good. That sets us up perfectly then. If the vibe is the recruiter, what are the specific, must-have features we're seeing? The things that earn instant points with Gen Z?
Right. So we can break it down into 4 really practical things. And, for facility managers making those big investment choices, these should be seen as baseline requirements now, not fancy extras.
Okay, let's hit the first one. The one that probably causes the most immediate frustration if it's missing. Tech integration and charging.
Yeah, you nailed it. Think about it. A recruit walks in today, they're juggling multiple devices. Smartphone, maybe a tablet, sometimes a gaming thing, and definitely wireless earbuds.
Always the earbuds.
Always. So our research really hammers this home. Integrated power isn't a luxury anymore. It's basic infrastructure.
So we're talking USB ports right in the locker.
Specifically, yeah, integrated USB-C, standard outlets too, built right into or right next to the locker.
But wait, are these just like the cheap plastic ones you get at the airport?
Yeah.
Because for an AD investing millions, durability, security, high use, those are huge concerns. What do the sources say about the heavy duty side?
That's a great point. And yeah, this is where the deep dive matters. The really smart facilities, they're using commercial grade, tamper-resistant charging hubs, often kind of hidden, but still easy to get to.
Built to last.
Exactly. They have to anticipate high load, constant use. And this thinking also extends to the Wi-Fi. It needs to be super robust, seamless, high speed everywhere in that locker room. It has to handle lots of devices streaming at once.
Makes sense.
The source material is really clear on this. If you don't anticipate their devices, or worse, their phone dies because there's nowhere to charge, that's a huge deal breaker. It instantly makes them doubt the program's whole tech setup.
That's like a subconscious thing, right? If you can't even plan for my phone, how are you handling advanced sports analytics or recovery tech?
That's precisely it. The level of tech integration becomes a sort of proxy for how sophisticated the whole program is.
Okay, moving from function to feel. Let's talk about lighting that sets a mood. We've all been in those awful, buzzing, sterile fluorescent rooms. That's clearly got to go.
Oh, that environment is just psychologically draining. Today, lighting has to be strategic. It should be subtle, controllable. We're talking customizable RGB LED strips, architectural accent lights, careful spotlights highlighting the brand, or maybe some gear displays.
What are the specifics there, technically? It's not just about flashing team colors, is it?
No, it's way more nuanced. It's about control and color temperature. The sources really recommend systems allowing for DMX control.
DMX.
Yeah, it means the lighting can shift moods instantly. Think like a warm, low Kelvin light for pregame focus or recovery time. Then maybe bright, high contrast light for filming or postgame interviews.
Wow, okay.
And the lighting has to render the team colors perfectly. Getting that brand color rendering spot on is critical because, again, it feeds directly into the postability. Every logger needs to look almost cinematic.
So the lighting design is actually a marketing cost now, not just decoration. It's like visual proof of elite status every time someone snaps a picture.
Precisely. If the look doesn't back up the story of being elite, it actually works against you.
All right, number 3. This one taps into the athlete's mental well-being. Privacy with purpose. A locker room is inherently communal, but modern athletes seem to need their own space too. How do you balance that? Community versus personal retreat.
Yeah, this speaks directly to the mental load Gen Z athletes often carry. They need moments to decompress, maybe manage their digital stuff, or just recover without being totally isolated. The sources talk about creating space where athletes can recharge without isolation.
Okay, but how do you do that architecturally
Okay.
without just sticking everyone in little isolation pods?
Good question. Modern designs use subtle things. You see like curved partitions between lockers or slightly oversized units that give a bit of a visual screen when someone's sitting down.
Oh, never.
And dedicated zones are key too. Small, maybe sound-dampened quiet zones with headphone jacks or acoustic paneling. Places where athletes can take a video call, listen to recovery audio, or just grab a few minutes apiece without disrupting the whole team vibe.
That signals the program cares about mental wellness.
Exactly, which is a huge plus in recruiting now. It shows the program sees them as individuals, not just numbers on a roster. It's a signal of care.
That personalization makes a difference. And that thoughtfulness flows right into the 4th feature, right? Instagrammable, brand-forward aesthetics. This is where the materials and the branding really lock in the feeling.
Yeah, this pulls it all together.
It seems kind of obvious that this space should look good, but what specific aesthetic details really hit home with this generation?
Well, we need to think beyond just basic construction. The impact now comes from material choices, things that look and feel durable, high quality. The sources talk about using, say, solid surface countertops instead of laminate because they last longer and just look better.
Right.
Or choosing high-quality wood grains, custom metalwork for the lockers themselves, making sure the team logo is actually integrated into the architecture, not just, a banner tacked on the wall.
So the quality of the material itself sends a brand message. Cheap finishes suggest a cheap commitment.
Absolutely. Like the sources say, every inch matters. Recruits today are sharp consumers of visual content. They spot authenticity and quality instantly. The goal, really, is to make walking into that locker room feel like a cinematic reveal.
A cinematic reveal.
Yeah, like an architectural moment designed for maximum emotional hit.
Why is that cinematic part so crucial?
Because the athletic department isn't the only one publishing content about the program anymore.
The athletes themselves.
Exactly. Recruits will share the space on social media, probably before they even sit down for the official pitch from the coach.
Wow. Okay.
So if the space nails that cinematic, high-quality vibe, the athlete instantly becomes this organic, enthusiastic promoter for the program, broadcasting that elite status to their whole network. You have to design the space to handle and even encourage that kind of sharing.
Okay, so we've established it. The locker room is basically essential digital age recruiting material now. But let's zoom out. What does this shift mean for the athletic directors, the facility managers, beyond just impressing teenagers? What's the wider impact, the return on what must be a pretty massive investment?
Right, and this is where we shift from just talking about cost to talking about strategic investment and ROI. The design features we've covered, the tech, the lighting, the privacy elements, they're really engineered to hit 3 main goals that go beyond just winning that recruit.
Okay, goal 1 is recruitment, which we've covered.
Yeah.
using those subconscious emotional triggers.
Correct. But secondly, it has a huge impact on culture, internal culture.
How so?
When current athletes are in an environment that screams excellence, that prioritizes their performance, their recovery, their individual needs, it naturally boosts pride. It elevates performance standards within the team already there. You're creating a professional environment that they want to live up to.
Makes sense. It sets a standard. And the third goal, branding, making the facility market itself.
That's it exactly. By designing these spaces to be inherently postable, the facility itself starts doing the work of the marketing team. Every share, every Instagram story, every quick photo an athlete takes reinforces and elevates the program's brand. And that organic peer-to-peer stuff, way more powerful than official marketing sometimes.
Okay, but let's be practical for the facility managers listening. Gen Z tech changes so fast. Is this a huge investment that's going to look dated in like 2 years? Or do the sources suggest ways to make it last?
That's a critical question, obviously tied to budgets. The sources argue strongly for designing for adaptability.
Adaptability, how?
The key is to invest in the durable, timeless structure, the high-quality materials, the solid cabinets, the acoustic treatments, things that last. But keep the technology and the aesthetic touches more modular.
Okay. Like plug and play.
Sort of. Think lighting systems. Those RGB strips can be swapped out. Charging ports, USB standards change, so make those units easily replaceable without ripping out the whole locker bank. This approach makes sure the investment stays winning for, say, 10 years, not just 2 seasons.
Got it. So engineer the core for impact, but design the tech and aesthetics for flexibility. That definitely reframes it away from just decorative spending. It's about creating environments that actually reduce future headaches and boost recruiting results.
Absolutely. The big picture here is creating spaces engineered for impact, designed to turn heads, win hearts, making this not just an expense line, but a truly necessary strategic investment in the program's future. You just can't separate the physical space from your digital story anymore. They're the same narrative now.
This has been really insightful. A deep dive into how facility design is basically high-level psychology now. We've covered that need for sensory validation, the non-negotiable tech, the move to mood lighting, and that tricky balance of privacy and community.
Yeah, and it leaves you with a pretty powerful thought, doesn't it? If that locker room is truly a 24/7 recruiter, and the first thing a recruit does is share it before the official pitch, how much of your recruiting story is now actually controlled by the athlete's phone camera and their social feed, rather than your own carefully crafted marketing?
That's a big question.
I think about it. What stands out to you as the most powerful subconscious emotional trigger that design can activate? It's worth considering next time you see one of these amazing new facilities. It's definitely marketing, just disguised as architecture.